Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Two Guys and a Girl and the Tea. This is the show that we basically go through the weeks. Can I say week, months? The latest current events. I would say that's going on with social issues. We have discussed dating and how that has changed with OnlyFans now being thrown into the mix. We discussed that on the last two episodes. We've also discussed things to do with identity, such as what was the last one? We discussed the movie The Whale in one of our episodes, episode 4. You can go find out, as well as LGBTQ rights, and that's what we do here. We take on those topics and we extrapolate on them. And today we're doing that once again, talking about this outrage casting that has been happening with Romeo and Juliet, and it has boggled. I'm going to be very honest. It has boggled my mind. It's not just my mind that has been boggled. I want to know if my co-hosts, given a Meryl's mind, has been boggled as well. How are you guys doing? Did you guys hear about this? How's your week going? Let me know how you're feeling. What's talk to me, man, because I don't know anymore, because I actually didn't think a play from the 1600s would now be an issue, because I'm pretty sure there's, talk to me, like, have you seen Romeo and Juliet? Have you the previous works, etc.? Like have you heard of this? What's going on? How are you doing, Given and Meryl?
I have not, but I have seen once the Romeo plus Juliet movie with Leonardo DiCaprio and I think Claire Danes. But that was like in high school, so that was a long time ago. Also, slight correction, that it premiered just before 1600, but close enough. I was like 1600. I looked it up, and apparently it premiered in 1597. So I'll allow it.
Oh,
But,
okay. Oh gosh.
I care about. I'm autistic. I care about precision. I am literally autistic, by the way. I'm not
3 years away. 3 years away.
But no, I didn't. I actually did not hear anything about this. It might be because here in the Netherlands, just apparently we don't care.
Oh.
And it's your country, so that's probably why it's more of an issue.
We will go into the details of the controversy a little bit, but Given, have you heard about it?
Oh yeah. I heard about it. This past week and a bit. It's been quite interesting. I don't know, honestly. Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, it's made. Yeah, it's made national headlines. I'm gonna give you guys a bit of can I say national headlines? Yes, I mean it has. Like the casting director has gone out and basically condemned it, and and was talking about how she was receiving racial abuse online. And I did see it as the conversation was actually happening. I saw it on Twitter, but I didn't really engage in it. I was like, oh, okay, they're gonna this is like the minute I saw Romeo and Juliet, I was like, I'm theater. I was like,
here we go again.
Oh yeah, oh shit. Basically, this is basically the story. Basically, here it was reported that the theater company, again, I must stress theater, because this is the part that really annoyed me, because this is not a movie, by the way. It's a production that's
Yeah, it's going to be on the West End, right?
Yeah, it's a production that's being put on the West End. So it's not necessarily. This is something that I didn't see anyone else cover. The usual suspects that would usually cover things like this on YouTube, they didn't cover it. So I'm like, if they're not covering it, this is it's really bad. It must signal really bad. But I do want to get my gripes out first, because when I read through this article, it just basically the girl from. I only heard of her from Bad Education, and I've seen only a couple of episodes. I didn't really watch it, but Francesca forgot. Oh, what is her name?
Amewudah-Rivers.
Thank you. You say yeah. Rivers. She was being cast to play the role of Juliet, and she was being cast alongside Tom Holland. And I think this is Spider-Man. I actually think the reason why is because it's Tom Holland in it. I don't know why. I actually think that's why there was an outrage in it, because people actually think it's a movie coming up. That's what I think.
I don't know. I think it's more just because Tom Holland is now, especially thanks to Spider-Man, so well known that people are just more aware of other things he's doing.
And let's not forget that he has a very, 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 very beautiful girlfriend by the name of Zendaya. So this stock.
Okay.
I'm just saying, this is why people are having a problem here. Is the stark contrast between that and this is, for them, is like, bro, like
contrast. They're both non-white.
No, the beauty factor. Like, objectively speaking.
No, don't go there.
There's no such thing as objective beauty. But
objectively speaking,
continue.
Let me just, like, it's for standards we can actually kind of look for with, like, you know. Let me not go down this road, but in terms of like symmetrical face, looking, you know, like, I don't know how to describe. I don't want to go into too much detail, but she just looks like what do you call it? Someone a lot of people would want to, you know, be with, essentially.
Oh, you mean?
And I'm not lying here when I say, when I ask you, yeah, Zendaya. In terms of attractiveness, she is a caliber above.
Yeah, like
have here, but that's not meaning, you know.
Hey, I would feel a lot more comfortable if we're not going to compare the objective beauty of like women here. Like that's not.
No, I'm just saying this is impacting how people are reacting.
Oh, yes, yes. What I believe Given was trying to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, Given, but basically he was saying that, and I did see this as well. They were like, oh, she's not pretty enough to play Juliet or something like that.
Exactly.
She's not pretty, like, you know. So I think what Given was trying to basically say was because Tom Holland is with Zendaya, who is seen by the I personally don't have any view on this one by the way on their beauty, but I can see what he's trying to say, that the public will be like, how do you like, but it like, you know, I mean, I can see
it really doesn't matter. But
yeah,
people,
like,
you know how people get.
But I did see those comparisons. I'm not gonna lie. I did actually see for some reasons, and she was actually brought into conversation because I think, but that was only when she commented on the role. Like, she congratulated Tom for the role, wasn't it? Like, let me get that. It was only when she congratulated that her name started being mentioned, from what I remember. But just to give a quick background again, basically, the role of Romeo and Juliet, as Meryl alluded to earlier, has been played by various actors. I even remember, I think before Harold, what's his name? Harold Perrineau played the role of Mercutio this was when I was growing up. Like, this was a movie that I watched when I was growing up, and I can't remember an outrage back then. Like, no one was saying Mercutio is like a black man's, a white man, so we shouldn't. To be honest, I don't even know the original colors of these characters when I read the book. So that's what really intrigued me about this, because we're gonna go into the movie aspect in a minute, because that's what I think people got confused at. Because with theater, people take liberties with theater. Like, no one really cares over there. Like, anyone plays anyone over there.
Of course. Yeah. Has anyone ever seen a modern adaptation of any play that was decidedly not modern? Like, I've seen several operas and associated pieces of theater. Like, I've seen Rigoletto played in a modern, well, quasi-modern, like more like 20th century, pardon me for the outdated word, but like an insane asylum, you know? that's not how the original story was written, but it works. Like, that's the point of theater. Because imagine if you're just going to play the same play the same exact fucking
Yeah.
way for
Right.
hundreds of years.
Like,
Obviously, people are going to make new adaptations, new interpretations. That's the joy of theater. And like things like skin color or even gender or sex or whatever, go play ball or no
see,
balls,
see.
whatever.
This is for like. I want to talk. I want to get into the why, because this one really got to me, because every time I hear about this remakes and these casting choices, etc., with movies, I kind of switch off, because I'm like, come on, it's a once in a lifetime production. You're not gonna put this together again in probably like 10-15 years. So I can maybe understand why some people would want it to be at least, accurate to the source material, whatever. I can see that part. And usually they, like, when I
Yeah,
argue
well,
with
what does that even mean? Like, accurate to the source material?
well, put it this way. Let's say that I wrote a play, right? Let's say that I wrote a play, and not a play. I don't want to construe it with theater production, but just for the movie. Let's say that I wrote a script, right? And the characters that I want to play in the script do not have any cultural significance or whatsoever, but I definitely put in there that these characters are black and these characters are white, etc. If that was to be adapted into the big screen, I would want it to be like that. Personally, I would want it to be like that. Even if you can swap, if I was to meet a director now, and I'm like, okay, this one will go, and the director wanted to change some characters because he feels like the audience would attract these people, etc., I would have a problem with that. Which I feel like the audiences are kind of taking on the role of being a director and basically deciding what they want to see, basically. So that's how I interpret it. Like, so if you want to, like, based on what was written before, if you want to have a movie that sticks to that kind of source material, I can somewhat understand. What I don't understand is when it comes to theater, because I'm like, no, but come on, they put this on every year. Like, it's not like a movie. Movies, I can understand the turnaround. It's a long time, blah blah. You might want to keep things the same. If you're gonna switch, make it like, don't just keep everything the same. You gotta switch everything then. Like with Sherlock Holmes, for example, with Elementary, if you've seen the new ones, it's gotta be something similar to that. That's why I think that swapping with movies, etc., is different from the theater ones. But what do you think?
It's interesting though that you bring up Sherlock Holmes, because we have famously BBC Sherlock with
Cumberbatch?
Bendy Double Cumberbund, or whatever his name is. No, Benedict Cumberbatch. I couldn't resist. I'm sorry, but like, that is set in the modern day, which is not how Sir Arthur Conan Doyle wrote it, and nobody cares. Like, sure, there are some people who are like, no, he was set in like Victorian age or whenever, but like, nobody says that you can't reinterpret it. Like,
No, I
who cares?
agree.
Because it offers lots of new ways that Sherlock can show his mental prowess that he couldn't before. Like, now he can think about, oh, maybe they have a gun, which is not something that, well, they had guns, but like, not like we have today.
Not like a semi-automatic. Not like a semi. Nah, but like what people from what I've heard people say on Twitter and Outrage, etc., is that they keep everything else the same, but they switch the gender, etc. They don't try to alter the story to fit what they have changed this character to be. For example, it's the same character beats going in, etc. And you're wondering why. If you're gonna change this, it would make sense to tell a story around that character that you're now changing, because it means change. And I can get that argument. Like, you can't just bring someone completely new that doesn't look like the old adaptation, and then it's the same storyline. I can see.
But why?
No, but
Like, technically, why?
I can see their argument from a movie standpoint. If it was for a theater, that again, that makes sense. But from a movie standpoint, where let's say that the last, it's a loose example, but Little Mermaid, right, 2001 or 1999. I can't remember the exact date, but you get where I'm going. The point I'm trying to make is, from that time to 2024, if the story stays the same, but they've changed this one character without giving a creative reason why this change has occurred, I can see why people wouldn't be at ease watching that, knowing that there's nothing changed about it and it's just a straight swap. You might as well keep everything else the same, basically, is what I'm trying to say. But that was a little tangent. The point I was trying to make here, though, going back to this, is because of the fact that this is theater, the fact that there was no need for this outrage. And I did see, and I'm going to take a swipe at the, because everywhere that I read, I didn't see people's comments in regards to this. I didn't see why they call it racist. The only thing I have actually seen is the comments that I've seen myself. It's like, oh, that's racist. But when people go to read this, they're just seeing what the head of the casting have said about it, and there's no real tweets or something like that to actually show, hey, this is an example of why it's racist. And that's the part that that kind of caught my eye in all of this.
Why exactly would you say that it's different between the theater and the movie?
Theater is regular. It's a production that probably comes on probably once every 2 years, once every year or 2 years. Like Lion King is always on every time, and I'm always see different cars play in it, etc., different races, etc. I don't have a problem with that.
And I think people who generally go to theater have more, like, to watch theater plays, they generally have a love for the craft and the art art of actually performing and all that kind of stuff. So you'd find
generally have a lot of money too.
Oh, there you go. But generally, most of those people would kind of enjoy seeing, they're not like they just enjoy seeing the art being performed. They're not really sticklers for the tiny minutia, like, race or whatever. Whereas if you get the common people who have a common understanding of what Romeo and Juliet is, and then you throw them a curveball like this, if they think it's coming on the movies, they're going to think, what are we doing? What is this? What is this? You get all those opinions that you probably would never get. Usually you never get in a play. But this one has just rocked the boat because of Tom Holland's starring. If it was another white male who we don't know about, no one would be saying anything, no one would care. But it's just because it's Tom Holland and he carries so much weight that it's a problem, because the people who see Tom Holland see him in these blockbusters, so they're feeling some type of way, like, what's this? Like, what are we doing this to Tom?
Right.
Like, it's a bit mad.
Yeah.
It's definitely racist, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just mad.
Oh yeah. Of course. Like the comment I was making earlier was to basically just say, like listen, if you're gonna call some big, because I feel like we've gone to a point in our society that you can't just say something is racist and then expect people to just believe you, because we have seen people take liberties with that and call racism when things are like, maybe it's not racist. And I've seen that myself. Like, I'm like,
it works both ways though. You also can't hear someone say that's not racist and then just believe them at their word.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that it is on the media to actually show the examples. Okay, this is what was being said, rather than say, oh, we condemn the act, nothing like that, this and that. And I'm like, okay, but what was said? Like, if anyone that weren't there to see it, they're not gonna be like informed on what racist is and what isn't, because I feel like we've gone to a point that we can't take anything that they put out. Well, I'll speak for myself. I don't take anything that they say in regards to like social issues like racism, etc. seriously, on like, because they don't communicate it effectively. Is what I'm trying to say. If you know what I mean. Do you know where I'm coming from? No.
Well, I understand your point of view. I partly agree. Like, obviously, ideally, you'd include at least a few examples. Obviously, you can't include all of them, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's not like racist abuse with regards to casting a non-white actor in anything is particularly new or something. And I think what I've definitely seen when I looked into this, because before you announced the topic, I hadn't heard of it either, as I said
Ah.
previously. But the something that I did see coming up was people calling it just a DEI hire or diversity hire, and I'm like, why couldn't she have just been hired because she was the best at auditioning? Like, why that is in itself kind of racist. That if you're black and you're hired for a theater play on the West End, that must mean it's just a diversity hire, not because you're actually good at your job. That's in itself kind of racist.
Do you think they're
Yeah, it's
making a
interesting. Yeah,
Do you think that they're making a point by going down that route? Because I don't feel like I don't feel like before going to this point, given why do you think that was interesting? Let me collect my thoughts for a minute because go on.
oh, what do you mean?
Why? Because you said that was interesting to her point. Like, why do you feel like it is interesting?
No, I said it is interesting. Like it is interesting to see people's reactions towards, the race hire thing.
Yeah.
Like what is prompting them to think it's just like another like, diversity hire? Is it because of the stardom of Tom Holland? You'd think that they'll probably give him someone more, like either well known, like either someone more well known, like someone more like on the spectrum, like we understand this person's like been in the field for this long, but she seems like someone we've never heard of. You know what I mean? Like she's just come out of nowhere. If it was someone like what's that girl who did Precious?
The big one.
Bro, why are you laughing? Yeah, why are you laughing, bro?
No, it's because
No, what's her name? But what's her name? If it was her, at least
let me
there'll
look
be
it up. Let
there'll
me
be
look it
like
up.
a known factor of like we know who she is, we understand who she is. So a lot of people might not have as much clapback, I would say, because she has proven her chops as an actor or an
What?
actress.
What?
Whichever one you say.
Gaboris Sidibe.
Yes. She has proven her chops, getting nominated for Oscars and whatnot. So you'd say, okay, it makes sense, it makes sense. But I think because we don't know who she is. Most people don't know who she is. Most people don't understand, how she got this role. And just looking at it like from like a layman standpoint, they're just thinking, oh, they hired someone for Tom. Like, how would you do Tom like that? This person is not, on that level. I don't know their acting chops. They look like a normal person, and they're putting them next to Tom Holland. That doesn't make any sense. But that's how people are seeing it. They're not seeing it as Tom Holland is just a normal person too. They're seeing it as Tom Holland is superstar Spider-Man, and she's just this rando who they just plugged in.
I do. Do you think is because they don't want because I've been seeing outrage over diversity, this whole DEI project that Disney put out.
You know what I would like to see? It's
Go
not
on.
the diversity thing. I think like I would seriously like to see if they put Zendaya in there, what would the difference be? You think people would be doing the same thing?
I don't know.
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't.
No,
be doing
because
the same.
Zendaya did get backlash for Spider-Man though.
Yeah, but it wasn't to the same extent as this.
Yeah, but it was
if
still
you see the-
backlash.
Might be
It was-
because she's like less ostensibly black. Like she's way
yeah,
lighter in
that's
skin
what I'm
tone.
saying.
No,
But
but
you can pick-
I
you
mean,
can
this
pick
is a
another
real thing.
actress.
Like it's not as obvious. Well, if you look at Francesca, like her features are decidedly more typically African than Zendaya. In Zendaya's case, it's more just the skin tone than the facial structure. So people notice more.
Yeah, but
That's
this
just
is
the
what I'm saying.
thing.
Like, I would like to see a more like you can bring in like someone who is black, but I want to see what the difference would be if that person looked like they were like what do you call it, like a model or something. I want to see what the difference in reaction would be with people, with the difference in how they would take the casting. That's what I want to see. Obviously, we don't have that, so we can't know. But I would like to see that as a model to see how people would react. Would they react more favorably if she was more like beautiful in their eyes, or is it because she's just black?
I
That's
don't
what I
think
would
that
like to see.
matters because
Or
like,
both, because misogyny cuts in a lot of ways.
That's what I'd like to see.
what about Halle Berry then? I can't say I don't want to say Halle Berry because
It's
people
just
know who.
it's just
Yeah,
Halle
I
Berry.
think she'd be. I think
But but she got loads of backlash equally. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
granted
but that's
though,
because.
granted
But we
though,
know why
her one
that is
wasn't on her
because
look.
we
Her one
understand
wasn't
why
on.
that's because.
Huh?
We understand the reasoning for that.
Yeah,
Like
like
you can
her
make
one
a,
was
you
not
can
on
make
her
a better
looks.
case for a play because
Yeah.
the play is kind of written on paper, so there is
Right.
no attached image to it. Whereas the other shows, you can make a more like distinctive claim that hey, these characters were established to be this type of way, and you just change them to be that type of way for just
Right.
diversity's sake, instead of making
Right, but why do
incredible
we
characters.
care about their skin color? Like, we could
Well,
also say, oh, but the original character who played this had brown hair, so you
No, I
can't
think
cast
it's
blonde
connection.
people.
I think it's connection because people have already connected with that character in that form, so they kind of feel like they're
Okay,
not getting
so
the thing they're connected with. Same with
then
me.
don't cast any character ever. Like, why give in to that? Like, people
okay,
should just get over it.
okay.
No,
So
I'm just saying, like,
so
same with me. Like, if I see like, if I've known a character to be a certain way, and they give me something completely different from the character I know, I'm kind of like tight. I'm like, bro, this is not the thing I grew up on. Like, this is not making sense to me. It seems like you're
Yeah,
not
deal with it.
taking
Now other people can
the
grow up
fan
with it being
base
different.
into account. They're not taking the fan base into account. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if you already grew up with it one way, you've already had your fill. Like, why wouldn't you let other people grow up with their version of it? Like, it's not all about you.
Bro, ask a person
There's other
why
people.
they keep eating the same food all the time because it's their favorite food. You can't then say you've eaten that, you've had your fill, eat something else, bro. What are you talking
This
about?
is such an entitlement issue.
no,
I'm
Man.
just
I
saying
mean,
this is how people think. You can't.
Wi-
If someone likes
yeah, and
pasta
I'm
because of
saying that
say
it's
white rice,
bullshit.
they'll be
Okay,
like, bro, I
so
don't care
so
about your rice.
I
I like
wanna
my pasta.
because what it sounds like from Gibbon's perspective, he's a purist. Am I right by saying that? Purist? Keep things kind of similar to like, to what it was.
It depends on if I have stake in something, a character. If something has impacted me a lot and I enjoy the character a certain way, and I've enjoyed their depiction a certain way, and I've connected with them regardless of what they look like a certain way, and then they've then changed that to something else. Sometimes you feel like, bro, like you think like it's almost like sometimes you feel like they need to pander to you for you to connect to the character. It's like, no, you don't need to change the character for me to connect to the character. There's many a points I can connect to the character on than just the skin color they are. They could be white, Puerto Rican, anything, Indian. You can connect on many a points in the human experience just besides skin color.
So give okay.
I still maintain. So what? There's more people on this planet.
Okay, so
I'm not saying so what. I'm just saying this is why people have a problem. It's not.
So-
Yeah, no, I'm saying so what?
so
Then
I'm
stop.
gonna
Like, to those people who have a problem with it, I'm saying just get over it. The world doesn't revolve around you. There's other people.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's then you get things like Marvel not making money right now. You see what I'm saying? That's what you get when they do this game of trying to play
That's
with the source material. People kind of
Well-
get upset and they're like, bro, what are you doing with the source material? We don't like what you're doing with it because we like it a certain way. So the business has to lose steam, lose money. Look
okay,
at Marvel
so
right now. Look at Disney. Look at LucasArts. Look at LucasArts and Star Wars. They're losing money, hemorrhaging because they're doing things in a way that is not faithful to the source material.
so we have okay, so
That's
that
their
definitely
choice.
answers
Exactly,
Gibbon's
but the
point.
People have spoken.
That definitely answers Gibbon's point in terms of him being I'm guessing a purist and you're more of a liberal and like let things adapt. For the record, I actually
I'm not sure if I would feel comfortable politically with the baggage that comes with the word liberal, but I'm like,
Okay,
hey, I recognize that I'm not the only person on the planet, and I want other people to enjoy things too. It doesn't
Liberal-
all have to serve me.
Okay,
Like-
I will
You
I will
could.
clarify that. Liberal in terms of the arts. Like because people from what I understand of liberalism in terms of the arts, like they are more modern. I don't know the words. I just lost the word. I was gonna say modernizing, but I don't think that's actually a word to use. But they are more innovative. Like they would like bend how we see things and not necessarily want to stick to the traditional ways of doing things. So that's what I mean by
Why repeat the same thing over and over and over when you could also make new interpretations? The old ones still exist. Like, you can watch old movies.
For the record, I agree, and I'm gonna get to the point, because this point here, I do want to pose to you, Mero. I'm gonna go to the chat. Ariane says, thank you so much for communicating with us in the chat. If you guys want to contribute, if you guys want to like have your feelings heard, let me know in the chat how you're feeling, and if you want to say something in regards to this, let me know as well. But let the chat know. Sorry. But yeah, she says, but then what happens if someone wants to do a production of Othello? With what then? So this one, I do want to ask you, Meryl.
Right? So he was like canonically not white.
You see.
But let's explore.
You see, this is what I'm saying.
What?
People pick and choose.
But think about,
what am I picking and choosing, bro?
No, I'm not saying you.
What am I picking and choosing? Like, you're making what point exactly?
No, I'm not saying you are. I'm not saying you are picking and choosing, for the record, by the way. What I'm trying to ask...
No, you didn't, but Given did, and I want to know what the hell he meant.
Okay, Given.
Just continue with your point, and then I'll let you finish it first.
No, literally all I said was that he was written as a Moor who was black. That was all I was saying, and you were like, you see? And I'm like, what point were you trying to make? Like,
go on. Continue.
No, that was all I said, and you responded to it. I want to know what you responded to. Like, what?
Given. We will get. Given. Okay, we'll start with you. Why did you react in the way that you did? What was your point?
Why I reacted.
Like, why are you responding like, see, and now when I ask you to actually stand by your point, you're
this
dodging.
This is what I was saying earlier with the characters, is because if a character is canonically written a certain way, you expect the character to be kept canonically a certain way. So if
and that was not a point I was making.
Let me just finish. Well, if Othello was to be made white, people would have a problem, because it's like, bro, like, what are you doing? Like, what is
right? But you understand, like, what the difference is between making a canonically white character black and making a canonically black character white, right?
But I'm not that type of person who's gonna be like, oh, we can pander to the black people, but we can't.
It's not pandering.
That's what it is. It feels like that as a black person. I'm not gonna lie to you, because I'm the one on the receiving end of it, so I feel it. That's what it feels like to me. It feels like, oh, you guys, we can't be. I talked about this before.
I accept that it feels that way to you, but whenever I voice something about any minority community that I'm not a part of, I take what I say from that community. I'm not here being like, I'm a white person, I'm saying this is how you should feel. Like, I know that the black community is divided over this. There are people who are like, hey, we don't need diversity hires, and there are people who are like, we need more representation. It cuts both ways.
The best way to solve this problem is to let's just make new and exciting characters for us. Make the new exciting characters. We don't need to take and recycle old characters that have been used and abused and then give them to us. We don't want that. Seems like secondhand baggage, bro. Give us.
No, it just means that you can also enjoy it and see yourself in characters that have existed for a long time. That were never something you could see yourself in.
The human experience is beyond just the skin color, is what I'm saying. When I was watching Little Mermaid as a kid, I connected with it. I'm not white. I'm not a girl. I'm not redheaded, but I connected with the characters. One of my favorite shows. But I'm not. I don't look anything like it. This is what I'm saying.
It's funny because earlier you were making the point, hey, but if I connected to the character a certain way, and then if they change the character, then I'm gonna be upset. And now you're like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, I gotta conflict. Anyway, have any of you people seen Hamilton?
I've heard of it. No, I haven't seen.
I've seen like.
It's a big theater play. It's a big theater play, but I haven't.
Okay, I can't literally quote it front to back, and I'm not even kidding. But the thing about Hamilton is like that its tagline is very aptly the story of America then told by America now, because famously the cast is all non-white, even though there are some people who might be white passing, but they're not like Western white of descent, you know? Because race goes a little bit further than just skin color. But anyway, there were people who were upset about it, but Lin-Manuel Miranda's idea in doing that was like, hey, this is also our history as non-white people. We also get to enjoy this. We also get to investigate this. We also get to see ourselves in it, instead of being, yeah, but Washington was white, so he shouldn't be played by a black person. And like, well, we all know that he was white. We don't need to see white characters all the time to be reminded of it.
Okay,
And it's just a matter of taking ownership over something that's also your history. I mean, not you guys, but like in the States, black people live there. It's also their history.
Meryl, I want to ask you a question. Have you heard of iconoclasm, by the way?
Like as a general concept?
Well, yeah.
Or the Symphony X album? Oh no, that was Iconoclast.
I've never heard of that Symphony X album, by the way. But
it's prog metal and it's awesome. If you ever want to listen to it, I heavily recommend to listen to Underworld.
The last metal
album.
I don't even think this guy is metal, but the last person I listened to was Marilyn Manson, and I just never went back in there again. I just never.
Right, but he's like far off into the let's make this as weird as we possibly can.
Yeah, no, that was enough weird. That was enough for me. That was enough. The highest I would go now is Green Day and Slipknot, and that's it. I
love Slipknot. I saw them live once at Graspop. I was like, I hate this. I want to leave. But anyway, but that's all irrelevant. But continue your point about iconic.
So basically, iconoclasm is where you. In terms of historical figures, is where you basically change their visage to the visage that you want. That may not be, but it's an extreme version. It's not like for a movie. It's more of where you're doing it for in an historical book. Like you're actually doing it for like statues, etc. You're making figures that were like this into looking like something completely different to what they were. So that's basically the concept. But the reason why I said that was because of what you said in regards to Abraham Lincoln, right? If you are making black, and to me, I
said Washington. Lincoln wasn't alive at the time of Washington.
Sorry, Washington, George Washington. And to me, that's
he might have been partially alive at the same time. I don't know. Anyway, not relevant for him.
But in that case, if you are okay with that, how comes you are like, okay, but we can't do that for Othello because Othello has been written as a Moor?
Please remind me when I said that we can't, because I don't remember saying that.
No, you said there was a difference between changing people that were canonically Moors.
There was a difference.
Yeah, there's a difference. How did you get from me saying there's a difference to we can't do it? I didn't say that.
Because I think it was... Yeah, so you can change Othello then to be white.
Sure. It would have a different cultural impact, but I'm not going to say, no, you can't. He has to be black. No, of course not. That would be insanely hypocritical.
This is interesting.
Like, just be... Yeah, because I'm, like, internally consistent with my own thought. But... The point is, like, you have to be culturally responsible and culturally aware of what you're doing by doing such a thing, what message you might be sending. Because, like, it would be, for example, very interesting to see an adaptation of Othello where everyone who was black is white and everyone who's white is black. That would be interesting. Like, how does that play out, you know? Like, I'm not saying you can't.
Yeah, but think about it, though. No. Given, I see your point. Think about it.
I have thought about it.
No. But I haven't. So this is what I'm thinking. Like, think about.
It would be interesting to watch.
No. But think about it. Like, imagine the Nigerians that sold the other Nigerians to slaves. Yeah, to slavery. Imagine that being. Remember that movie? What was it called? Oh, damn it! I just forgot what it's called. Woman King, right? Imagine if all those were white women. Yeah, imagine if all those were white women and the white people that were and black people were selling white people to slavery.
Wait, wearing the traditional, like wearing.
Yeah,
traditional
white people
garb,
doing
like,
that. Yeah.
wearing
Yeah.
completely different garb.
No.
I don't know this movie, so I can't.
Like wearing the African garb.
Yeah, white people actually wearing that, and then black people
Like wearing
coming
the
in on
African garb.
Yeah,
That would be
listen
very
to me. Listen to
interesting
me.
cultural commentary, actually.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me.
Nah, you're
White
making a revolution. What are you doing?
like in the Woman King, right? They are the ones selling other white people into slavery, right? And then the black people coming in on the boats, and then they're picking them up and taking them to Europe. Think
Buying
about
them.
that.
I think it would be interesting because I think that
taking
there's
it
still
to
a lot of
Africa,
white
why do
people
that?
that don't really grasp the concept of what it means to own other people and to sell them into slavery. But if they see it happening to their own race, I mean, race is a bullshit concept anyway. But if it didn't even exist at the time that Romeo and Juliet was written, by the way.
It actually did.
Also a fun fact.
No.
But-
I have to push back. It did.
Really? Bring it.
Bruh.
The modern concept of race did not exist at the time that Shakespeare was writing. You can prove me wrong. Wish you good luck. I mean, worst case scenario, I learned
What
something.
do you mean by the modern?
I want to know. I want to know as well.
Like they're black, we're white, or they're
wanna know as
Arab,
well.
we're this, they're Asian, we're this.
Meryl,
Is that what you mean?
explain.
Like they are different than us, that they are lesser than us? Type?
Like, obviously, we have eyes, right? So we can see that people have a different skin tone or different facial features. Like some people, apart from skin tone, might have curly hair instead of straight hair, or wide noses, or small noses, or are like tall and gangly, or short and more
Yeah, but Meryl,
compact,
they
or
literally.
whatever. Like, I wasn't even done yet, bro.
Okay.
But all of that, we all have variations, but nobody ever made a point of classifying people by hair color for some reason, even though there's obviously a geographic difference between, like, people in Asia Southeast Asia generally tend not to have blonde hair. People in my area, I mean, I dyed it, but I'm like blonde underneath all this glorious redness. But all of that is just, obviously we have differences, but seeing them as a different race and seeing them as like fundamentally, like ontologically, inherently different is very, very modern. And especially the way we
Meryl.
classify them, because nowadays we would say that Irish people are white, right? Do you agree that Irish people are white?
All of Europe.
Well,
is white.
a century ago, Irish people were not seen as white. They were seen as a different race.
Meryl, I
I think it
during
depends
the
where
time.
you are. It
during the-
depends who you're asking.
One
to be
second.
honest.
One second, Given. During the time that you are like talking about here, they literally bastardized the word, a Latin word, a legitimate Latin word. They bastardized it. Like, this is they literally saw race differently back then. During the times of when that was written, they bastardized the word. Do you know what word I'm referring to?
No.
The word for black.
Put it in our little.
The Latin word for black was actually
And
the
the
N word.
point you're making is
They
what
bastardized
exactly?
it. Like they bastardized it. There is a reason
That's the
why,
word, and that proves me wrong. How?
because they obviously did see a race. If they turned something that was literally just a common phrase that you can't even remove it in other languages, they clearly saw something that was, hey, these people.
Did you miss the part where I said that obviously we have eyes, we can see differences between people?
That's not the point I'm making. I'm saying they saw that these people, in terms of, were supposed to be here. That's what they believed. So they made this. So they changed the word, at least the meaning of it, in terms of the actual Latin word for the N word. Which, well, it never was the N word, by the way. It was just. It's literally how they were describing black people back then. Like way before slavery, way before all of that. going all the way back to Rome, etc., it's always been the N word. But now we can't even say it because they actually, from the time slavery started, they actually made it like that.
And the point you're making is what?
That's what race is, though. I'm better than you. You're here. Your race is here. Sorry, here. Sorry, no, not here. My race is here. Your race is here. That's what I'm trying to show.
Yeah, and I'm saying that the way that we conceptualize race now is not the same as it used to be, because there was even at least one, but possibly several Roman emperors who were black. Like there's the very famous Severantando with Septimius Severus in the 3rd century, I believe, who is like painted with black skin. He was born in Libya, I believe. And even a very important person in Christianity, Saint Augustine of Hippo, was from Algeria, and he was a Berber. He was like from an indigenous North African people. Like he wasn't what we would modernly consider white. But nowadays, there's like, we see this difference between like European people and African people in general, and Asian people. Like the lines have shifted so much, because back then, in the time of the Roman emperors, the difference wasn't, are you like white skinned or dark skinned? The difference was, were you a Roman citizen or were you not a Roman citizen?
And
like the way that we draw those lines is very different. And back then, it's not like there weren't any dark-skinned people in Italy by the time that I mean, that's why Othello is black, because there were dark-skinned people there. So why is this now suddenly an issue? It's because the lines have shifted, and now suddenly we see this division between like people of European descent and people of African descent that didn't used to exist.
Table this for now. We'll go back to this. We'll go back to this because I don't have any rebuttal just now. I'm gonna have to pick up my history books to study on this one. But going back to now I got lost. Othello was Moro. Damn, you really stumped me there on that one. Given what do you reply to that? What do you say to that? Because help me out here, bro.
No, I don't know. Like, it's one of those ones which is like, I would probably say that it's probably one of those things which is race itself in the like, again, because it's one of those things like racism. Like you can probably say you had it, but it wasn't defined as what we call it today. Like people wouldn't go around like saying it's racism. It would just look more like hate for like another group of people, depending on the situation. It'd be one of those things. Like it wouldn't be. You wouldn't be able to class it as like all this group of people hate all this group of people. You know what I mean? Or all this group of people hold their belief.
That's not what racism means.
No, I'm just saying, like, it would be like you would have people who are prejudiced against other people because of the color of the skin. That's probably something you probably have in all times in history. It's not something that could just come and go like that.
It does actually. Because you'd think that people would always see white people, like that white people would always see white people as like one of them. But as I just explained, Irish people were seen as a different race in the past. So clearly, just skin color alone is not enough.
I know, but I'm saying in that sense, you could still see another black person, not saying you hate them, because you can still hate another white person because of they're Irish or whatever. But you can still hate another black person because they might not be from your area. But would you not consider that racism still?
Sorry, come again?
Repeat.
You could still hate black people because you associate them with an area you do not like. So you could hate on them.
Yeah, that would still make it bigotry.
This is what I'm
still
saying.
prejudice.
This is why I said you'd call it hate. You'd call it some form of hate. I don't know if you call it the same way as racism today.
I wouldn't call it. Well, hate is like a.
He's got a point there.
Hate is a difficult word.
Given with the haymaker.
I don't really see what point you're trying to make. Like, yeah, you can hate people,
like this,
okay?
I'm saying, like,
so
it's hard to like describe these things when obviously we were not there in these times. But you could assume, like, just looking at it, you can have people who hate other people, not necessarily because of like, again, it's like classism. That's something that probably has existed.
Yeah, what do you think racism is based on? Do you think it's just because of the color of their skin, or do you think it's because of the associations with where people with that skin tone come from?
He knows.
I know
He
this.
knows.
That's
He
what
knows.
I'm
Okay, so then what's your point?
Given, continue. Make your point. Like he was making it. You just
isn't
interrupted him.
My point is, it probably did not exist in the form it does now, where all people are focused on is skin color. There are probably other factors that added to it, but because those people were still discriminated against, and they were in that group with a certain skin color, would you not consider that some form of racism? Is my point.
Depends on the situation.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Because we're not there, we don't know. We can't.
That's actually. I mean, going off what Given said, there was a point. I don't want to misquote or misunderstand here, but there was a point in which when Irish people, no Irish, no blacks, no dogs. There was that point in the in Britain. So I think that's what Given. Am I right by pointing that out? Is that what you're alluding to?
I'm just saying that you could discriminate a group of people based off a region they are from. That group of people might turn out to be all black. Would you not consider that still a form of type of racism? Is what I'm saying.
Would you? Because that's what you're saying. Like, hate is. That's what you're saying that hate is.
So if you hate those people and they happen to all be a certain dark skin color, I would still consider that racism. Personally, you might hate them or not associate the person who's doing the hate. You might not associate it with actual racism, as in I just hate the skin color you have. Then I don't. This is what I'm saying.
Nobody hates just the skin color.
Because I was not there.
It's association with what people with that skin color have. Like nobody's like, hey, I just don't like the color of your skin. No, it's just because people think that color means that they
you know
are
why I can't say
way.
that? No, I can't say that because I'm not in everyone's mind. I can't say that. There might be
You
some
don't
people
have to be. People spew it out loud on Twitter. You can watch it. Why would you need to be in everyone's mind? This is such a cop out. It's just like, oh, I can see. As soon as you're cornered, it's like I'm not in anyone's mind. You don't need to be.
Would you consider this racism? Yeah. You hang out with black people. You chill with black people. You're white. You chill with black people. You hang out with black people. But then you just say, I don't want to date black people because I just don't like the color of their skin. Would that be racism?
By the way, for the record, I don't think this is racism. By the way, I actually think this is just dating someone is a different ball game. Dating someone is a different ball game. But I'm gonna buy on this one. Meryl, go ahead. Meryl, go ahead.
Well, I don't think that like having black friends necessarily means that you can't be also racist because like.
Would you consider that person racist? Yes or no?
I don't have a habit of like calling individual people for individual things.
You see now she's tap dancing.
No, I'm not tap dancing. I'm making a point that I'm not saying this person is racist, but like that thing could potentially be racist depending on what reasons they have for not wanting to date that particular skin color. If that's all that's behind it, then it's just like, okay, it's just an aesthetic preference. I don't care. But if it's like an association they have with the skin color, then it's another ball game.
That's interesting.
Like, it depends.
That's interesting. Flipping it.
Nuance. Very interesting.
I want to flip this. What if they only want to date black people? For example, they only want to date them because of various reasons because they are black. What if a white woman wants to date only a black person because they're black?
Again, depends on the reasons. Because if you're just fetishizing black people, I'd say that's pretty bad.
Okay.
But like, I mean, it just depends on the reasons, and it is genuinely a very interesting topic because it's not like we're calling straight men like misandrists because they only want to date women.
Misandrism. You're being.
But you can't do that because that takes away the.
That's our biological function. That's our biological function, my guy.
Yeah, that takes away the definition.
No, but I get what that's a very good point.
I kind of get what she means. Yeah,
I get where she's coming
it
from.
takes
It's
away
like,
the definition of the misandry because it has to be a woman doing
we
the.
weren't doing it, but like, yeah, and vice versa. So
It doesn't have to be.
flip
it's
it.
like-
Flip it.
Like a lesbian woman and a straight man could equally, like, they are equally not misaddressed for not wanting to date men. Doesn't matter what the sex or gender of that specific person is. Like, can we move on?
Let me go. Going into the chat quickly. Ari, thank you so much again. This is a very good point. The truth is that this issue of modern racism is a matter of for countries at the beginning of the quote unquote food chain. We Cubans, hola mi amiga. Just praying out there, ¿qué tal? Muy bien.
I said, "Hola, mi amiga."
We Cubanos are very aware that misery has no prejudices. That's a very good point. That's a very good point because I don't know about you, but I didn't know about racism until I came to this country, by the way. It didn't exist. Like where I grew up, like, everyone just hated you. Everyone wanted what you have. It was dog eat dog. You had no time to be racist.
It's no different. Even in like when I moved to Botswana from Zambia, they just hated you because you're from the next country over. They just hated you because you're from another country.
It was
like,
tribalism. People don't even know that tribalism really like is actually something.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But people find a reason to hate other people just because.
Yeah. That's a very good point. I'm glad that you
Yeah,
made that
it's
point,
called
Ari.
tribalism and xenophobia. It's very interesting.
But
No, I'm just
xenophobia
saying,
is not.
there's no escaping this, like, just hate, people hating each other.
Xenophobia sounds like you have to be in another country saying that about another country, whereas
Why did it have to be another country? Like xenos
Because that's-
in Greek just means like stranger.
No, I know what xenos.
Next city.
I get that point, but I'm going by the English definition that actually puts in country, like it actually codifies country as being the definition of
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I kind of have to go by that. But in terms of so it sounds like that. But in terms of tribalism, like growing up in Nigeria, you can't. I'm from Ibibio, like down south. You wouldn't know it. Most, I mean, I'll be surprised if you did. I'm not saying you don't know all things Nigerian. I'll just be surprised. But the point I was making was, if you're looking at someone like from north, like Hausa, they don't like it. They don't like people. The Igbos don't like Hausas, fam. Like, you know, it's like if you're from Nigeria, you know what I'm talking about. Like, I don't know. You're from Kenya, right? Please, you are you from Kenya? Given? You're not
No,
from Kenya?
Zambia, man.
Zambia. Oh my God.
Kenya, bro. Do I
I'm
look
so
that
sorry,
bleak?
my guy. No.
Do I look that bleak, bro? Do I look like I can do 800 meters? What are you talking about? 1,500, 5,000. bro.
Yo, Sudan is bad.
Yo.
Sudan is bad. Anyway, but that's a very good point. And also going back to the topic of Francesca, because it's very interesting that, you know, going back to the whole DEI stuff, because there were calls for Tom Holland to basically speak out against it, right? And that's what I actually. It's very funny because it's very funny. Well, at least to me, I find it funny. He says, this is great. Related. When is her white co-star Tom Holland, who is dating a black woman in real life, going to speak out to also publicly speak out? And that was in response to over 800 black women and non-binary actors have signed an open letter condemning online racial abuse, etc. So Tom Holland has not spoken about it, and I'm just going to say, whoever is doing whoever is doing Tom Holland's publicity, by the way, whoever is handling his PR, brilliant. I'm being honest, navigating through all of this and going through all of that, and then having Zendaya speak in support of him in the middle of all that, genius. I see the move. I see a chess move.
No, it's just interesting that. Well, it's like it's one of those ones where I think that humans are always like this. It's you know, if you're not with us, you're against us, and it's just one of those situations. Like if you're not really speaking out against this situation, you're kind of supporting it. Is how they're gonna look at it. So yeah,
Yeah,
I get it.
The reason why I say he's brilliant is because let's be honest here. Let's be real. If Tom Holland said a
Has
word,
he not responded to this day?
he's not said anything. He's been quiet. The point is, if he said something,
But is that a good thing?
I think it's a good thing. He's in a lose-lose situation. If he says something,
He's not in a lose-lose situation.
yes, he is. If he says something,
How?
he is. Well, for one, he's a white man. So if he does speak out, then he's being a white savior. He's saving the white woman from the.
Saving a white woman?
Have you not heard of the white savior trope?
He's saving the black woman.
Black woman, my bad.
I was like, what white woman is he saying?
Yeah.
No. I see. Again, I wouldn't think it'd be white savior. I think it would just be. It's just a courtesy if you're working with someone to just show your support for the person you're working with. If you actually do enjoy their company and care for them, it could be misconstrued as that, but it's not a lose-lose situation. Because
I think it's a lose-lose because
anyone with basic faculties will understand that you're just supporting a coworker.
you are giving the internet way too much credit.
I'm not giving the internet way too much credit. I know they'll tear him apart, but again, it is the best situation for him, morally speaking.
So do you think that it was a bad thing that he's not saying anything at all then?
I think it's not a good look for him that he's not saying anything at all. Yes.
Really?
Of course, he needs to say something, bro.
In
what
what
do you
sense?
mean? Would you not
I
say
don't
something
think so.
if someone you knew who was, let's say, white or something was getting bullied by your black friends? Would you not say something? You just keep quiet. Oh my god, you are a criminal. I would say something.
I would
say something.
Well,
like,
I mean,
it's not cool. Like,
I
enjoy working with him. He's a cool dude.
Look,
He's a
listen,
cool
like,
person. She deserves a role. That's simple.
no, I get where you're coming from in an ideal world, but I have seen.
Not even an ideal word. It's just the morally right thing to do. Like, what are you talking about?
No, I don't disagree. I see it, but what I'm trying to say is that if you're in Tom Holland's position, right, and I'm speaking from a lens of actually.
But the people who are gonna say white savior are the people who are like black and racist.
No, it's not just that. It's also white people who want a virtue signal.
Yeah, that's what
there you go.
That's what I was trying to get to.
There you go.
Because it's like,
the white
why does
people
she
who've
need
internalized racism
why does she need Tom Holland to speak out for her? She has already got 800 people speaking out for her that are black. If Tom Holland speaks and takes all the headlines, then it'd be like, oh, now everyone is listening to Tom Holland because he spoke, and not the 800 black people that signed the open letter. That's what I'm seeing. Am I crazy? Am I going crazy by seeing?
Well, if people listen, then he did a good job, no?
No, but like, oh, come on, man. You can't tell me that you're blind to that. Like,
I'm not blind to that, but I'm just saying it's the morally right thing to do.
I don't disagree. I'm just saying that we've got to the point that virtue signaling has caused this kind of ripple effect.
Well, this is what I'm saying. You shouldn't be. This is why I said
Not really. It's like the backlash against. Well, I don't like the term virtue signaling. I agree that it does happen, but like it's the entire wave of people who just can't take it seriously that anyone would genuinely, of their own accord, take position for a marginalized community that they're not part of, that like immediately they're like, oh, you're just virtue signaling. So it's like people who genuinely support these communities are kind of like bullied into silence by that means, but still, I mean, you could still speak out and just like ignore the haters. But it's like, even I had that because I genuinely care about other people, which seems to be weird in many people's eyes. They're like, because I spend a lot of my time advocating for also communities that I'm not a part of. I mean, I am part of the LGBTQ community, but like, for example, I'm not trans, but whenever I take position for trans people and like fight against transphobes, people are like, oh, you're just virtue signaling. I'm like, are you this hateful that you can't even fathom that someone might genuinely care about other people?
That's my point, though.
That's my only conceptualize this by thinking, oh, the only reason she's saying this is because she's trying to virtue signal. No, I actually care. Like, what?
Meryl, you virtue signaler, you.
Yeah, but
Oh, piss off. Take a hike.
I actually need to take one. Guys. I need exercise.
Yeah, I do also kind of need to take a hike. But
I haven't been on one for like 2 months. Finally went on one
I
last
saw you in the
last
forest
Sunday. It
though.
was
The other day,
amazing.
you're
Huh?
taking a walk in the woods, no?
Yeah. Like that was on Sunday. That was my first time doing it like I went for like a 2-mile walk, 3 miles or something. Oh my
nice.
gosh, I was so refreshed. It's the best thing. You should go for hikes. But I am going to write into the polls. I want you guys, the comment section, to let me know. Do you think the outrage is justified on this occasion? Let me know what you think. Do you think the outrage? Do you think the outrage over the casting? Damn, I'm so bad at this. I need a showrunner over the casting of Romeo and Juliet was justified. Oh gosh.
To be or not to be?
That is the question.
That is
So, right. So,
and guys, do you think this show is actually gonna do a good, like, is it gonna actually put butts in seats, or do you think people are gonna protest the actual show?
Yeah, I'll ask that.
Because
That'll
of
be
the
a
whole
next question.
casting decision.
Good point.
I don't think so. I mean, this isn't even the first time that a black woman is playing Juliet, and previously
Who
Who was the last one?
was it? Let's see.
I don't know. Like, I don't know if that was literally the last one there, but there was, what's her name, Condola Rashad, in sometime. I'd have to Google it. I just have her page open here. Also, there was in 2018 there was a production of Romeo and Juliet that was, I think, also West End, with a British Indian guy playing Romeo. And no one cared, because guess what? Intersectionality is a thing, and when it's a black woman, suddenly we care. If it's like a brown guy, then I don't know, whatever. It's a guy. Can't fire any misogyny at a guy.
Oh Lord, this is so. Okay, fair enough. It's right there, and it's actually it's on. Oh gosh, it's
Like,
actually
literally nobody cared. Like, Romeo was being played by a brown guy, and there was like crickets.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh my god!
I think
I didn't even know the movie. You know,
Probably have like a lot of basement dwellers, dudes.
This is actually too funny. I did not know this was actually a movie. Once upon a time, it's actually a proper movie.
Or is it like a show?
No, it's actually a movie.
Well, what I was talking about is still theater.
Is it Orlando Bloom one?
Yeah.
Yeah, Orlando Bloom is the one with Condola Rashad in 2013, apparently.
It's a Broadway play.
Oh, it's a Broadway play. Okay,
yeah.
fine. Okay, cool. I thought it was a movie.
No.
I saw. Oh wow! So this is not even first and foremost, it's not the first time.
Yeah, that's why this
that they have
entire
actually
outrage is
used-
just like.
Orlando Bloom is a big star as well.
Get some real problems.
You see, so what do you think the difference is between then and now?
Look,
I
listen.
think the main difference between then and now is there wasn't so much race politics then and now.
I agree.
Funnily enough, the whole culture war outrage comes from the people who are participating in the outrage. Like, if they would just not make a big deal out of stuff, there wouldn't have been an issue.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think back in the day, like back in the 2010s were beautiful. People were not too focused on this whole race thing, and it wasn't, social media wasn't there to like really fuel this whole like race thing. And you could have things like this, as we see, and people just, oh yeah, it's just Romeo and Juliet, who cares? But now people are so into this whole like, oh, you know, they're changing.
They're changing everything. They're killing us.
Like, and for Broadway, bro, what are you doing? Oh,
this is why. Look. This is why I think it's all stupid, because I go into like even this show. I'm not sure like how many people will actually watch it. It's my favorite show of all time. I'm not gonna lie. Well, actually, maybe not all time, but I like it. Elementary is the one I was talking about in terms of Sherlock Holmes. They made Watson a woman, a Chinese woman at that fact. Well, not Chinese. I'm not gonna say Chinese. I don't know where she's actually from.
Something
in the
Asian.
show. Asian, South Asian woman, basically.
Oh yes.
They made Watson South Asian woman. No one cared. No one cared. But and to be honest, I watched.
This speaks to the time, because there wasn't this play on we have to have diversity. We have to. It's like they're shoving it down people's throats. If you just did it subtly, people would.
Yeah, but they did do
it.
They did shove it down.
Make it a point
but they did though. But
when did they?
They did. What? Elementary. This came out in 2012. They actually promoted it and said that Watson has been made into a badass South Asian, South Asian woman with Lucy Liu. I actually let me actually get the article up, to be honest.
She's actually of Chinese descent, by the way. Born in New York City to Chinese immigrant parents.
I didn't want to guess.
Now
so that's why I looked it up.
The social zeitgeist is so social media based that everyone's looking for the next controversy. Everyone's looking for the next outrage to outrage about. Everyone's looking for the next, what are we going to argue about next?
Yeah, so maybe they should stop making an issue out of like totally mundane things. Like, ooh, so Juliet gets played by a black woman. Big deal. Like, move on with your life. Doesn't impact you.
It just speaks to how people have become more social media-fied in this time. It's just people just living on the internet.
It's not our fault.
Well, it is their fault, to be honest.
This was the article that was written back then. Obviously, I don't have the social media tweets at the time, but it looked like it's literally here. Like, this is the word. Now, Dr. Watson will be transformed into an ass-kicking female counterpart.
I can't see it.
I'm seeing it.
Oh, you can't see it?
I'm seeing it, but I also I have my own screen and I have like the stream open over here.
I haven't opened the stream though. That's the thing.
Oh, okay. All right.
Come on, we need to bump our viewer count. Start watching.
Wait, let me open the stream.
Like, but that's the point though, because there was no, like, she didn't get, the point is, if you type in Lucy, like, if this was a big deal, right? The same way that we saw these articles in regards to the casting of Francesca
Amewudah-Rivers.
Thank you so much. I'm flipping heck. I'm a do what Rivers. That's the one. I don't know why.
Think of Wood. Think of Wood.
I don't want to think of Wood right now. I don't want to think of Wood right now.
Here's your daily reminder, by the way, that masturbation is healthy.
No, 55 days. I can do this.
Stay strong. I
can do this.
Just do it. It's healthy.
He is in a cloud, in a deep fog.
But the point I was making was in regards to the outrage that we're seeing with Francesca, right? You should see the headlines backlash to Lucy Liu's casting. That's what I'm trying to say. You should see it, but it doesn't exist.
Exactly.
It doesn't exist in that time. So why is it in 2024?
There was no social media to the level.
There was social media. No, there was to
not to the level we have it today. Not to the level.
Have you not lived through in an African house?
Twitter these days, ever since Elon Musk took over, this kind of turned into a fascist cesspool.
No. Wait.
Instagram was not popping like that. Memes.
Wait, no. Have you given? Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. We were all in uni. Have you never heard of the trend in an African house? Like the whole black girl, I won't date a black girl trend? Like, these were all trends on Twitter.
I was not on Twitter back then. That's my point.
Oh, well, I mean, a lot of people were. I was on. I saw it.
Not as many as there are today.
Fair enough. Ari, thanks again. Ari goes on to say, I find it quite disheartening that at the age of 50, after experiencing the iconic USA for Africa event. Wait, was that in Cuba? Let me know. Was that in Cuba? With nearly 50 of the best artists of various races and illnesses coming together for a common sense, we still haven't learned to avoid... Common cause. Sorry, I don't know how to say common sense. Wow.
It's your language, bro.
For a common... It's English. It's my... gosh, anyway. For a common cause...
I know.
We still haven't learned to avoid misjudgment and ulterior motives. If felt like a glimpse into the future. Now we are faced with this debacle.
Well, I'm hopeful. Like, I appreciate that comment, but I'm hopeful that we can learn because progress is never linear. Like, there's always going to be a reaction to any kind of progress. And I mean, to that end, I'd like to quote, I don't know who originally said it. I know that Franklin Leonard said it, but to someone who's used to privilege, equality feels like oppression, which is very true.
Jesus.
And
I'm thinking back to the leaders back home. I'm thinking back to the leaders back home.
anyway,
That's a tough statement.
anyway, the point is that whenever people who are privileged, whenever there's then progress towards equality, the privileged people feel like they're forced to take a step back because all that's happening is they have to hand in their privilege, but to them that feels like a negative. Well, yeah, it is, sure, but like you're not alone on the planet. Again, there's other people to care about. But there's always going to be a push and pull. There's always going to be like a move towards progress, and then there's going to be a reactionary movement. And especially with social media being the cesspool that it is, especially Twitter, especially since Musk took over, like that's going to be especially loud. But for some reason, it's a very, very vocal, but also very tiny minority. But we've always overcome that because even when back like in the 19th century slavery was abolished, there was a lot of backlash, but we made it through, and thankfully we still don't have like legal slavery in the sense that it was back then. Then we had like the civil rights movement in the last century. There was a backlash, and then it kind of shifts. But it's like I have to mirror this, I think, because I'm seeing everything mirrored here. But like it doesn't go like this, human progress. It goes more like this. But every time we do get a little bit higher up. So I am hopeful for the future.
So my question then, based on what you just said, why do you think there has been outside of, because I know Twitter Twitter only amplifies the voice. It doesn't cause anything. It just amplifies the voices. There's a cause. Why do you think there has been an increase? Do you think it's because privileges are being...
Musk fosters it? Like, he's a fascist himself too, and he bans people who are not fascists, and he he amplifies the voice of people who are fascists. It's that simple. Like,
all right. I don't know enough. I actually
there is data. I'll actually pull it up because it was quite astounding.
We will do an Elon Musk stream, but we have to, because I actually don't like Twitter anymore, so we will have to curate one day. But the reason why I was asking
What?
No, I was gonna say the reason why I was asking that question was outside, not outside of it. Sorry. Why do you, without going into that much detail on
that was actually not hard at all to... I'm sorry for interrupting, but that's not at all hard to find. Like, apparently, Twitter saw a nearly 500% increase in use of the N-word within the 12-hour window immediately following the shift of ownership to Musk. Within the following week, tweets included the word Jew had increased fivefold since the ownership transfer. So, yeah.
To be honest,
kind of significant.
To be quite honest, this is why I said we should do an Elon Musk stream, because I already have.
But I said I'd pull it up, so I just pulled it up.
Is it not good to have these people exposed and in the open?
I agree. I think it is.
So
I think it is.
People are
partially
at all costs.
I
imagine having
the
closeted people who hate you and detest you, but they put on a smile every day.
But there's a difference, because I'm not necessarily in favor of like completely silencing them at all, because yeah, it is kind of important that those voices are also out there so that we know what is happening and we don't push it underground. But we don't need to like positively platform them. Like, we don't need to like give them an amplified voice over the people who are not bigots. No. Like that's not a good thing generally.
But I think it's not even just they get more like amplification. I think it's more of
no, they do.
Well, let me just.
I don't think so.
I think it's because
They do.
I think it's because Outrage generally tends to produce more interaction. So those
Then why
things
did it
actually.
change when
Wait a
Twitter went to
minute.
Musk?
Well, those outrageous comments tend to kind of elevate to the top. Even when Twitter was not owned by Musk, the people who were the riskiest at that time probably still rose to the top in terms of their discourse.
Sure, Outrage has always generated more engagement, but like you can't deny that it like drastically changed once Musk took
Because
over. So
people are allowed
clearly
to
he's
be more
doing something
outrageous.
wrong.
Because people are allowed to be more outrageous. That's why. So now the more outrage,
Why did it
more
change
people,
then?
the
Because those
more
people
people want to
existed before
check
as
in.
well.
I know, but again, if now those people who did not get triggered by the level of outrage that was there before, could possibly get triggered by a higher level of outrage that is there now. So if I
How
wasn't
does
triggered
that
by
work?
if I'm not triggered by, let's say, someone saying things that are like pseudo racist, but they're not actually being racist, and then someone actually goes off and says the N-word and I get triggered, then it means I'll be more likely to engage with the person when they say the actual N-word, meaning that would then get more engagement than the person who's trying to be sly about that hate on Twitter.
Right, so why did that change when Musk took over?
No, I'm saying
That was always commonplace on Twitter,
I'm
though.
saying,
That's why I
I'm
brought in.
saying that those
Yeah,
people
so I'm saying if it was commonplace, why did it rapidly increase when Musk took over?
No, it was
I'm
always
saying-
there.
I'm
No,
saying the
it didn't rapidly increase. It got more.
It did, I just read you the numbers!
No. It got
Listen,
It got more attention from the
Look, it's a
mainstream,
diagram.
but it's always been there. It's always been
No,
up and
there's
down.
literally statistics on how much these posts increased in number. That's not the media.
I get
That's
it.
Twitter.
I get it. But did it give you?
You don't.
Year? Well, hold on. Did it give you year by year, or they just give you? Oh, from this time frame, from this month of July before he took over to this month of December when he did take over. Oh, there was an increase. Well, if you peel the curtain back, maybe to 2015.
Why are you so incredibly skeptical about this? Well, we have literal statistical data.
Yes,
Okay,
because I'm
I've got a-
asking
I've got a
you
diagram,
how far
okay.
back does that data go? Because I'm telling you, it's always been there. It's just now people are seeing it. That's the only difference.
I've got a diagram if you're ready.
Go on.
No, like I've been on Twitter for years. I've literally seen the change in the tone of people on Twitter myself personally.
Okay, so have I. So have I. But go on.
Let's see here. So basically,
All I've seen is more porn accounts. More porn accounts, by the way. But yeah, go on.
This is Twitter back in the day. This is Twitter.
I haven't, which is says something about your algorithm then.
This is Twitter.
That's hey.
So basically,
Hey, take that back.
This is listen.
Go on.
Twitter then. This is Twitter now. This is the level of outrage that is being created then. So these people would want to respond to this. Yeah? This level of outrage. These other people would not be bothered because it's not enough for them to trigger them. Once it goes above that threshold, these people still respond to the outrage, but now these people feel compelled to respond. So it gets more attention and thus creates a bigger impact on the media platform. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say.
No, I do not.
Diagram and everything.
Like what actually changed between before and after Musk took over?
My man's,
What
my man
changes the
said
level
I-
of out
Thank you.
level at which people get triggered went up. So more people are likely to get triggered. because
Why?
There's more outrageous
Why did
stuff
Musk
being said.
taking over change how triggered people were?
Because Musk
there's
is not
more
your
outrageous
general.
stuff being said. It's that
That's
simple.
my point. There's more hate stuff being said, and now you're
Yes,
like,
I
no,
agree
that's
with you.
not
This
it.
is why I wanted to do an
No,
Elon
you're
Musk
like
stream.
pushing back against me this whole fucking time.
Listen. The minute that
Proves-
the minute that I
proves, Meryl,
said,
that you weren't listening.
Meryl,
This actually
Meryl.
proves-
I was saying hate speech went up, and you guys were like, no, not at
no.
all. Now you're like, no, it
Meryl.
was just more outrage. Like, why was there more
Meryl.
outrage? Oh, because there was more hate speech.
That's not what I said. That's
Isn't
not
that what I
said.
just said?
Meryl. The reason why I said we will have our own Elon Musk stream is because the minute I said that because I've seen those graphs before, it goes from a certain period in the same year. in the same year, saying it was like this before and it was like this after. I'm like, no, I want to see graphs from 2015, 2014, when I saw this same thing happening on the platform. I want to see from that time to 2018. Sorry, not 18. Sorry, 2022 when he took over. My bad. 2022 when he took over. I want to see that data so that I know that Elon Musk is a direct cause of this and not some, because and
ain't it funny, however, that there are so many people who are like reinstated after being banned for things that were previously TOS, like.
Yeah,
But the
he had a
TOS
point.
changed. That was
Like,
Yeah,
there's
his TOS
there's
changed. He
even
literally
people,
said,
there was this, I don't remember his name, but there was this one guy who was thrown off Twitter for breaking the TOS because of child sexual material, and then Elon Musk personally reinstated this guy.
yeah, Merrill,
But he's not the issue.
Who
Merrill,
is he though? Who's the
Merrill,
guy? Don't
he
just say
literally
this guy.
said though, but Merrill, he literally said, we have changed our TOS to be fair to the people that broke the previous TOS. We're gonna reinstate them, and if they break this one,
Yeah, and
we
you
will
think that's a
deplatform
good
them
thing
again.
if it allows people who've engaged in child sexual exploitation to be reinstated? Like, what? This is the whole point. Elon Musk has opened the floodgate for fascists to take over. That's my whole point.
Okay, so let me ask you a question on fairness. Let's just talk about fairness for a second, right? You own a company, right? You own a company, right? You are not paying any people to be here, so they're not your employees or anything, but you need their commerce, right? You change your rules on how to use this platform. In the spirit of fairness and transparent, or just fairness and equity, right? Do you still exclude the people that broke the old rules? You didn't like.
If there were good rules, yeah.
Hold on a second.
Huh?
We're not talking about we're not talking about the morality of the rules. We're just talking about the point of, if you change one iota of a rule, do you apply and make it fair for those that infringe on the old rules? Do you say, actually, yes, I made this change, so maybe I should give them, the people, basically forgiveness, but basically I should give the people that infringe on these old rules a chance to come back in and see if they have reformed their character? Would you offer that olive branch?
No, but this guy wasn't banned before Musk took over. Like, he was banned by Twitter, by Twitter personnel while Musk was already in charge there,
Okay,
and then he was like,
when
no,
was
this
the
guy gets to come back.
Right, okay, but when was the TOS implemented?
There
Because
was no TOS change between those two moments.
right.
The
but
TOS
there
didn't
was-
change between him being banned and him being reinstated. It didn't change.
Right. My question is, when did the TOS change occur?
Well, not between when he was banned and when he was reinstated.
That doesn't make sense. It has to have happened one point or the other.
It does make sense if you consider that Elon Musk is like an irresponsible fascist.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't like La La Land, so I'm gonna try and go back to reality. Like I said, we will do our
Maybe do some research.
Yeah, that'll be fine. That's also equally fine. We'll go back. So we got a few minutes left.
Do you really think that the guy who says that cisgender is a slur is like level-headed?
I mean, that's just his personal opinion. Oh, it's personal
personal
opinions.
opinion.
Yeah, bigotry is a personal opinion too. So what? Why are you justifying this? This is incredible. Like, oh yeah, this people just wants to murder everyone who has a dark skin. Oh yeah, that's just a personal opinion.
It's like when people get like, it's when people I don't know. Like me and Temmie had this whole discussion back in the day about microaggressions and them being worse than direct racism. Like, people have different takes on different things. To him,
and some of those takes are harmful.
Him thinking cisgendered is a slur.
Is very harmful.
To who?
To who?
So trans people, like the actual marginalized community, while cisgender people are not marginalized. Like, do we really need to rehash this again?
No. Hold on a second.
I have needed to go to the bathroom for a while now, and I'm finally gonna do it so I can think clearly.
Do your thing. Do your thing. While Meryl is gone to take a potty break, make sure you guys hit the like button. I should have said this all through the stream so that you guys actually know what to, because we do like, people that hit the like button and, and help us get the stream and the algorithm up. It would be really helpful. Because.
For the CC? Like, come on now. I said, go with sis.
I mean,
sissy? Like, we couldn't get something better than that?
No, but like it's not even the sis. She's not here to defend herself, obviously.
No, I'm just playing.
But it's not even the cis aspect, really. It's more of the fact that when you
have
think
to
about it,
define us as this other term instead of just
it doesn't. I don't know. Maybe it's my lack of education. I'm prepared to be educated on this. But if you're calling me a cis, if you're calling me cis, a cis male or a cis woman or whatever, right?
A straight person.
That
was there before. It's no different.
Yeah, but that's not what
I could still hear you while I was gone, by the way. So
that's fine.
Thank you for. Hey, I wasn't here to defend myself, which is I appreciate that.
Is the cis not just the same as straight? What's the difference?
No, not at all. What?
No.
So many times. Straight is about your sexual attraction. Being cis means you're not trans.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say. How does me saying don't call me cis because I am not actually trans, so call me just a male or female? I'm not trans. How is that affecting trans people? That's what confuses me.
Because you're putting cis people as like we're just people, and you're like not people. You're trans people.
But they chose to call
it. How otherizing do you want it to get?
Whoa. So other people can
imagine. I have a good comparison though. Imagine if I were to say there's two kinds of people. There's people and black people.
Oh, we went over this.
If I said, okay. My question to
do you
all
have
of this,
a problem with the word sighted or able-bodied?
Meryl, my only rebuttal to that is, would you have a problem if I say, please don't call me black person, just call me person? Would you have a problem with me saying that?
Yeah.
Like in like specific context where it's like necessary. If I want to say like black people face more discrimination than white people, it doesn't work to say people face more discrimination than white people.
That's not the same thing as assigning it to me, though. You're actually describing it's an adjective
it matters in context. Like if I want to say that I have had a more privileged life than trans people, I can say that I as a cisgender person have had more privilege than a transgender person. It's just like
that's fair.
That's all it is.
No, that's fair.
That's fair. But what I'm
as a cisgender woman, I'm still a woman.
I completely I don't disagree.
Agree with you.
I agree with you. But I'm saying if you're assigning it to me,
they don't want
it is what you are.
Okay, that's fair because I am a black person. But if I say don't call me black person, say I'm a person. Is that a problem?
In what context, though?
In the context that you just said.
To him.
What does that
referencing
do?
me. But you're referencing me.
Oh, bro. What do you mean?
No, but seriously, like in what context? Like, give me an example sentence where you wouldn't want to be called a black person.
The same context that you just said. You as a black person going through this, like blah blah, like what you literally just said right now.
Does it work to say that you as a person have faced more discrimination than white persons?
Right. I hear that.
That doesn't work.
I hear that. I hear that.
But you being a black person does not negate you also being a person.
I hear what you're saying. In that context that you keep going to, I don't disagree. Because you're making.
Then in what context do you disagree?
I'm saying when you say you are a cis male, that's when I'm like, I'm actually just a man. The same way like
that is you being wrong because you are a cisgender man.
All right.
How is this wrong to refer to someone
now in this context, because we've now defined the parameters. In this context, where I'm like, where you're like, you as a black man, this is the parameters. My response would be, no, I'm I don't like that term, black man. I'm just a man. Just say it's like fine. You as a would you modify your language to say fine? You as a man.
Not hurt his feelings.
Right? Would you modify your language for that?
It depends on what the context is.
Let's just move on then, because this is
Do
why I
you
didn't
want
want
me
to
to have like no nuance? Like, would you rather that I say like, well, yeah, but he as a person who is like not transgender, like,
We will talk about
what
this.
is the issue with cisgender? There's no issue.
We will talk about this on
We're not saying there's no issue, but what if someone finds issue with it?
Then they are wrong. There is no issue.
Oh, you can't say that. You can't just negate people's feelings like that.
If they say that it's a slur, it is not a slur.
You can't
It
negate
is just
people's
what you
feelings.
are.
If you want other people to take other people's feelings into consideration, you can't negate other people's feelings and just say, "No, I'm not going to refer to you as what you want to refer to as." It doesn't make sense for
I will use whatever pronouns you want. I will call you by whatever gender you want me to call you. But if your gender and your sex are the same, you are factually, objectively cisgender. End of story. That is just a fact. If you want me to refer to you as a white person, should I respect that?
Well, if that's what the person wants.
You know what this gives me?
Okay, then refer to me as a black person from now on. How do you like that, apples?
Black sister, I don't care. Like, it hurt my feelings. Like,
you understand how you completely demolish the social utility of these words, right? Because then, like, why are we even talking about?
Yeah, but Meryl, though, you gotta see the irony a little bit, though. This is kind of like saying, I'm gonna call you.
Every time you guys have tried to accuse me of hypocrisy, you've just been so monumentally wrong. Please tell me what the irony is.
Okay, the irony is, it's like you saying, I go to Spain, right? They have only one word for black. It's Negro. Let's say that I come from America, because I know Americans don't like the Negro term. I go to Spain and they're saying, you as a Negro person, and you're like, no, don't call me Negro. What do you want to? They cannot. What do you want them to say then?
They can't say African American, like.
Oh, come on. That's literally what I just said right now. Dark skin, yeah, but it will be Negro Noir. Technically speaking, to call someone dark skin is negro noir.
Also, I'd also argue that like the Spanish word for black isn't the same word as the English slur.
I get it.
Just because they might have the same letters.
But objectively, but that's the point. But that's the point that I'm making here. The same point that you made about the cis part. That's objective. Objectively, when you go to Spain and you're speaking to the people there, Negro is objectively the word for black. The only word that you can use outside noir. Because you can't say noir, because that one is for the sky.
Also, I'm pretty sure noir is French.
I don't know.
That's French for black.
I don't know. Noir.
I'm pretty sure that noir is. I know for sure that noir is the word for.
No, I forgot. Black. I think it's just negro. It's just negro. It's just negro, to be honest. I was trying to it's just negro. It's just negro.
Okay,
it's just negro.
Like, why would you want to hamstring? Like, I mean, there's.
I'm saying the point I was trying to make. The point I was trying to make.
They could always say non-white.
But the
point he's trying to make is basically, if you're gonna consider people's feelings and refer to them as what they want to be referred to as, you have to be intellectually consistent and say, if someone doesn't like this term, referring to them as this term, regardless of my ideology and the method in which I want to present this information, I will have to change it in such a way as to make this person feel like they are heard and they are understood, because I don't want to hurt their feelings.
Because again,
where am I being inconsistent?
Because the parameters that I just gave you in terms of the language.
Use the word black man or black this or
it's literally negro
call me
in Spain.
A person, call me a man. Don't refer to my race at all. I don't want it. That's what the person wants. So for you to be intellectually consistent, you just say, look.
Okay, so then if I'm talking about you in third person and I'm like, oh, this guy is facing racism because he's a person.
You just say this guy is facing racism.
But you can't. But that's the point.
Yeah, but I avoided saying he's a black person. I said he's facing racism because he is a person.
But English. But in English, speaking in the third person, Like, you kind of have to, outside of respect, you kind of just have to like, okay, cool. I'm not gonna say, but
Exactly.
you can even modify it, not to say the Negro part. You can modify it to say, okay, but you, as a man from this demographic or this area that is not trans, you are going through this. I don't think anyone would have a problem with that. Because think about it. If you go to Spain and you're like,
this is what Meryl is feeling right now.
We still haven't got. Well, what I'm feeling now is just being incredulous because you guys keep saying that I'm intellectually inconsistent, and we haven't gotten to any point where I'm being intellectually inconsistent. Please point out where I'm being inconsistent. I'd love to know.
Because you can't even say, okay, I'm not gonna say, okay, fine. You, the people from your area, from your demographic, they are facing this. I'm not gonna say, I'm not gonna call you Negro. But I'm gonna say the people from your, because that's the point you're essentially trying to make. It's not the fact that you want to box them in to be a Negro. The point you want to make is the larger population from where you're from is going through this compared to us white people. That's your point. That's essentially your point. The same thing with trans.
When did I make that point exactly?
Right. Okay. So now bring it back to your point. Your point was, you are a cis male objectively, right? So you should be able to say cis male. Cis man. And I say, no, just call me man. You could say, okay, but
you're still a cis man though.
I hear that. Because it doesn't change either. I just don't want you to call me Negro.
Man in your demographic.
Exactly. The man
and then what does your demographic mean? People with short hair?
Can I finish my point then?
People born in Nigeria?
Can I finish my point then? The men in your demographic.
Speaking of beyond that will make clarity what demographic you're talking about.
Right. Because showing respect means you go the long way. You actually, rather than take that shortcut of going through cis, because you know going through that lane is going to offend somebody, so you take the
How is that a shortcut?
Because it's literally grammar. It's literally
I don't know.
What?
So
I don't know.
You could say this.
But like, why would transgender then not be a problem, but cisgender be a problem?
Because you're showing respect to the person you're trying to talk to. He doesn't want to.
No, that wasn't my question. My question was, why would cisgender be a problem?
I'm literally answering. The person.
No, you're answering a different question. You're answering the question how you should then respond to people. I'm asking why would it be a problem to those people?
Because if somebody, thank you.
Yeah, and I'm asking why.
Okay, it's like saying you are Negro.
A valid reason why. I just don't like the way it makes me feel. What can you?
Why does it make you feel that way?
Well, why does you calling me Negro make me feel a certain way?
This is like
come on, man.
Because that word has at least been historically used to dehumanize and marginalize you.
But it's a language in Spain.
People are literally the majority by a far larger margin than white people ever have.
But it's literally a language in Spain.
Yeah, okay, we're talking English now.
Okay,
buddy.
but it's literally a language in Spain. If you go to Spain, you're gonna keep saying negro to the guy that says don't call me negro.
If I'm going to Spain, I'll be talking Spanish, which means that English rules about what is and isn't a slur do not apply. So let's get back to English, shall we?
Okay, but negro. You can't call me negro, though. In Spanish.
Did you miss the point where I said let's get back to English?
I heard your point loud and clear.
Am I speaking English or am I speaking Chinese? Because it doesn't seem like...
I heard your point loud and clear, but if you're speaking English to me, I don't want you to call me black. I'm offended by you calling me black. I'm not a color.
I think
I'm a man.
This point has been drilled down enough, and we can move forward.
I'm just being stubborn now, but
stubborn for no reason, because we still haven't gotten to the point why being called cisgender would be a problem.
Though. This is not a topic for it. I'm trying. That's what.
Well, we could have gotten past this like 10 minutes ago if you would just give some straight answers when I ask a question, buddy.
I did. I gave you a straight answer. You just wouldn't.
I'll give you an answer because that's what I don't.
No, you didn't.
I did.
What answer did you give to the question, why would cisgender be a problem?
Because some people don't like it. I literally just said it.
You are cisgender. Cisgender is not something you identify as.
You see?
Okay.
You see?
Cisgender is not an identity.
Yeah,
It's a description
the
of
same-
whether or not your sex and your gender identity
Am I
align or
black?
not.
Okay, Meryl, am I black? Am I
That
black?
is
Yes
your,
or no?
That is your,
Yes.
your like, I
Right.
hate the concept of race, but that is your race.
Right, that is my race. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I want you to call me
You
black?
can't identify as white.
Okay, fine. But I don't want you to call me black.
Whoa!
But I don't want you to call me black though. I don't want you to call me black, negro, any word. Just call me a man. Me personally, that's my own feelings. Would you respect that, please?
Well, I know you're being facetious anyway.
No, I'm not
But
being facetious. Oh, come on.
to a person's face, like for example, I have autism. I personally use having autism more than I say autistic. But I use them interchangeably. But there's a lot of people that make like a tizzy about that have like an issue with saying I have autism, but I also have ADHD. So it's just easier to say I have autism and ADHD instead of saying I have ADHD and I am autistic. Like that's just not very useful. But if an individual person says to me that they want to be described as an autistic person and not as a person with autism, to them in their face, I would respect that. But at the same time, I can still question, in the case of cisgender, why would you have a problem with it when it objectively describes what you are, which is a person whose sex and whose gender identity align with each other? Like, how would you like me to finish the sentence? Like, trans people face different obstacles in society than blank people.
In that context, it would not be wrong for, let's say, someone who does not consider themselves cisgendered. Let's say they are trans and they are presenting as male, but their chromosomes are female.
Careful here.
And I asked them, what are your chromosomes?
Do you know anyone's chromosomes? I don't know my chromosomes.
If someone asks the person, what are your chromosomes? And then they say, oh, my chromosomes are XX. And then you just say, okay.
Do you know your chromosomes? Did you ever have that checked?
Listen, let me land. And then someone goes and says to them, so you as a female, the female demographic has A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and that person gets offended because you called them a female. Would that person not have a right to be offended then, with your logic?
Okay, can we just, first of all, like, chromosomes have nothing to do with it because nobody knows their own chromosomes, and there are so many intersex conditions where people may, like, look phenotypically female or male, but be, like, chromosomally male or female, like the other way around. Like, there's complete androgen sensitivity syndrome, Fire syndrome, there's Klinefelter syndrome, like, there's so many differences. The chromosomes have nothing to do with it. I was not done talking yet.
Let's assume for clarity.
Did you hear anything that I said?
We have 10 minutes left of the show, guys, by the way. And I want to...
Let's assume for clarity that the person
we have 10 minutes left, by the way.
knows that they have XX chromosomes. They've been to the doctor. They know the chromosomes they have.
Just were assigned male at birth.
Okay, but the question is...
They present, not as in they've gone through a transition to present as male.
Okay, so they were assigned female at birth.
That's what I'm saying.
But how do you know that? But how would you know that by looking at them?
We know how people are assigned at birth because it's on their birth certificate.
No, we hear that. But how would you know that walking down the street?
If the person in question informs another person that they have XX chromosomes, and then that person proceeds to say, so females in your like you in your demographic are going through this, and this, referring to the person who has transitioned to being a male, but through their chromosomes are female, would that not be wrong to refer to them as female for the sake of making a point in demographic or whatnot? That would not be wrong.
You are so clueless about chromosomes. Oh my God.
Bro, what is
sex determination? Okay, sex determination does not work by chromosomes. You don't get karyotyped when you get born. You get assigned a sex based on your genitalia. In most cases, some cases, especially intersex conditions, they might karyotype you. I don't know my chromosomes. I guess they're XX. I'm not sure.
Devil's advocate here.
To continue, like, leave chromosomes out of it. Like, sex doesn't work by a... Let me freaking finish!
Meryl, this is not even a conversation. Hold on, guys.
I wasn't even making a point yet.
Guys. This is... Guys, wait. First and foremost,
You didn't even let me make a rebuttal.
Guys,
you ignored my main point.
Guys,
I was getting to your main point if you didn't interrupt me.
Guys, this is not, for one, this is not even a conversation. I don't know how we got here. This is not even a conversation.
Ignorance, that's how we got here.
No. This is not ignorance. This is just, I don't know what this is.
If you think that sex is determined by chromosomes, yeah, that is ignorance.
That's not my point.
That's not how it works. You have chromosomal sex, you have gonadal sex, you have genital sex, you have legal sex, you have.
And I keep saying this,
sex,
and I keep.
those are all different.
Meryl.
Either of you repeat what I just said.
Can you repeat what I'm saying, which is, this is not the show
I started talking before you.
Normal sex is different.
Yeah, but how did we get here when we're talking about Francesca, a black woman, and what's happened with her, and we're talking about how did we get here?
We got here because we started talking about how people are outraged on Twitter, and then we started talking about how Musk's takeover of Twitter increased the amount of hate speech, and then we got to because I said that Elon Musk designated cisgender to be a slur. That's how we got onto the topic of why cisgender isn't a slur, and why it would be really weird for people to say I'm not a black person, I'm a person, when they're also just objectively a black person by how we modernly describe race. And that's how we got to this whole point, because apparently I still need to school both of y'all on what sex even is.
Right.
That's how we got here.
And now we are here. I'm going back to what we were talking about it here. Because end of the day, the point is, right, we have immutable characteristics that we can't change about ourselves. And sometimes people...
And sex isn't one of them.
You don't... Okay. The point in all of this, we will talk about sex in another time. We'll talk about gender in another time. We'll talk about all those constructs in another time. I don't know how we got here, but we've only got 5 minutes left. Okay. So the chat voted and said that there was that the outrage, they actually voted yes, the outrage was actually justified. 20%, which surprised me a little, because I would have loved to know your opinion. But since we were talking about cis, I would want to, 1 second, let me get the chat up, because I want to read this out. I can't, oh gosh, I've become a boomer all of a sudden. No, damn it, become a boomer. I apologize. Okay. Right, so Ari says, I'm not cis at all. I'm a Latina woman and mother. 100 years of fighting for women's rights does not give a new generation to impose a label on me. Look, end of the day, like I said before, it's giving me, hey, you are just an N-word and that's it. That's who you are. I like have it. And it's like, no, I'm a man.
You see? Again, it's one of those things you can't win. There's no no winning, because the buck has to stop somewhere, and some people stop the buck before cis, and then other people have stopped the buck at cis, and that's where it stops. So it just depends who you are, I guess.
But in regards to this, because what we are talking about in regards to this, I still the outrage culture is pissing me off, because it does erode meaningful conversation, and I really I don't want you to feel as if I don't want to have the conversation. I just don't want to have the conversation right now, Meryl, because this was a different topic, and I know how we got here in terms of the tangent that we went on, but ideally I was doing my best to steer it back to the race aspect, because that was what happened here objectively. There was so much that because the discussion, especially when it comes to portrayal of minority characters, sometimes it's not even done right when it hits the big screen. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time to talk about it, but I will try and sum everything up because we only got 5 minutes left. But I will say, in regards to, let's try and bring together all we were talking about in regards to the cis, the racial points, etc. I do want to give you the floor to finish your point, because you were in the middle of making your point, Meryl. what were you saying in regards to Given's point? Given what, and then we'll go to you, and then we will close out on that. So what point were you make?
What point specifically?
In regards to the gender, sex, and the race aspect.
Well, it's still just a matter of fact that sex is not determined by your chromosomes. That's not how sex works. It's a bimodal spectrum. It's not a binary. There are different aspects of sex that are individually potentially viewable as binary, depending on whether you count absence as not one of the options. Because even if you look at gonads, you have and gametes, you have like sperm, you have eggs, but you also have people who produce neither. So technically not binary either. Also, cisgender literally only describes whether or not your gender identity and aligns with what would be commonly associated with your sex, so i.e. man and male and woman and female. That's all it describes. It's not a stigma, it's not a slur, it's not. The only reason that people would consider that to be a slur is because they consider trans to be something negative.
Okay.
So that's my point about that. Mm-hmm. What other point about race did you want me to respond to?
So I only wanted to ask. So based on what you just said, and I hope I'm not putting words in your mouth. I'm not trying to do that. That's not my intention. Just making it clear. The black people that don't want to be referred to as Negroes, because they do exist. They don't actually want to be referred to as Negroes. They don't want to be called or even be called as black or anything like that. They just want to exist as a person. I am not making that
Those two things are not mutually exclusive, though.
But they don't want to be associated with both, essentially.
But they are objectively black.
Yeah, that's just what you are.
Right. But when you say it to them,
like, doesn't matter how much I wouldn't want to be associated with being white, I'm still white. Like, I don't care. But like, hypothetically, if I don't want to be associated with it, tough luck. I am white. It's just what I am.
By the way, for full context, the people that actually go on that kind of that kind of thought, they are actually. Well, I want to get this right. They believe that race is a construct, so they want to deconstruct that. Yes, but that's my point. They want to deconstruct it. Yeah, and move the Negro out, move the black out, move all that, and say just regard me as a person. So.
Again, those two are not mutually exclusive.
I understand. But objectively, black is not a charged or word. Like the same way that cisgender is not a charged word or anything like that. Black is just who you are. White is who you are. Asian, blah, blah, all those things, all you are. But some people don't actually want to be called anything like that. They don't want to be anywhere near it because they want to. So in that case, are they wrong to feel like that then?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that like an individual emotion in and of itself warrants a judgment, but the reasoning they might have for it might be flawed in the sense that saying, I am not black, I am just a person, is objectively wrong. Saying, I am black, but I don't want to be called that is a different matter altogether.
I will give you this, Meryl. You're very consistent. I'll give you that. That is. I've never seen consistency like that.
Thank you.
I've never seen consistency like that. I mean, I can't. I
appreciate that.
No, I can't fault it because it's the same argument that she made for. I believe she's wrong because end of the day, there is the other part of your argument, which is respect people's, and I think you are very wrong to be like you're wrong to feel like that, but. I think you're wrong for that, but I think your reasoning behind it is actually sound. I actually like for what you've set up is sound. I can't fault that. Given what was your what you saying?
What'd you say?
What you were saying to Meryl beforehand, just to close up. What was your
I was just gonna say that
points?
the buck stops somewhere with people, and some people just don't. They stopped the buck a while ago, and some people are stopping the buck at we can't change cis. We refer to you as cis regardless of how you feel, how it makes you feel, it affects you. We don't care. We're just gonna refer to you cis. They don't care. Same way some people don't care.
That's not necessarily my point though, because when you're talking about an entire group, if you personally want to say that I don't want to be referred to as black, like this entire demographic and given faces racism, I'll be weird.
Hold on. It was Given's flaw though. It was literally Given's flaw, and yeah.
Yeah,
You
go
had
ahead.
the chance to get it all off, Mike.
Go ahead.
So basically, I was just saying. Yeah, the
Go
buck
on,
has
go
stopped
on.
somewhere. Some people have the buck stopping where they want to stop it, and other people have the buck stopping where they want to stop it. It's no different. It's just a new thing that people are thinking up. Oh, I'm better because I'm stopping it here because I'm being more inclusive and da da da. But they're stopping it there because it's all the same. Eventually, some people find that offensive, and that number of people will grow who find a certain thing offensive. If you're not willing to change, you just become the same bigot, like the people who don't want to, address people as they want to be addressed. That's how it just goes.
Okay, and we will definitely revisit this on one of our next episodes. Not the next one, because the next one we're going to be talking about AI and the ethics behind that in relationships. Oh my gosh, I've always wanted to get into this, to be honest, because imagine AI girlfriends are actually now a thing. I actually want to see what the latest technology says, because some people have actually forgone real relationships and have actually decided to get AI girlfriends. They are now AI not chatbots. Only fan models, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, people are actually.
It's
there
gonna be
is
more of a
actually
thing
AI
with men. It's gonna be more of a thing with men than women.
Of course it is. We are flipping
and
creeps.
And we know why.
We don't make sense.
And Meryl, you're gonna have you're gonna hate that podcast because it will refer back to a point that we made in another episode that you said, "Oh no, it's nonsense," and it's just.
There's a lot of stuff that I called nonsense, so please refresh my memory.
He was basically saying that it's just way harder for men to be with women than it is for women to be with men. And that's why you see the use of AI boyfriend or girlfriend being used predominantly by men, because it is infinitely harder for them to attract the opposite sex.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Maybe women have kind of become cagey because they've so often been abused by men. It's just a thought.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Mull on it.
Yeah, same with men. They become cagey because women are just, they wipe them with a broad brush and say, "Hey, you're all abusive." But hey,
I'm so done with you both.
Sincerely, go get some real problems.
I actually don't have any problems.
Hey, okay, so thank you so much, everyone that has actually tuned in today. Thank you so much for your comments, Arianza. It's curious because in Cuba it's commonly to say mi negro or mi negra affectionately. I agree. Look, listen, I was making a point in regards to, because no, I speak it. She knows I speak the language. I was making a point in regards to it, but I mean, because it's a literal conundrum over there. Because in regards to the Negro word, if an Englishman comes out and says, don't actually call me Negro, it's actually.
It matters whether you're speaking Spanish or speaking English.
Yeah, but when they don't speak English,
you know what's funny? That the word "kut" in Hungarian means fountain. In Dutch, it's a slang term for vagina. So it matters what language you're speaking.
But if someone says to that person who speaks the other language where it doesn't mean anything harmful, and they tell you, "Hey, can you stop saying that? It's offensive to me."
Yeah.
Out of respect, you're gonna have to say, "I'll stop saying that," because for you it is offensive. That's just common courtesy.
That was, and with that, before Meryl responds, we're gonna end it right there. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you, Meryl, for real. I love you, Meryl. But seriously, thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Thank you so much. I will on the next episode, like I said, we're talking about AI girlfriends and how it has actually taken taking over that at this point we don't even need OnlyFans models anymore. We don't need murderers OnlyFans model like Horny Clenny anymore. We have AI OnlyFans now. So Mary, Given wants to say something once again. Given, go ahead.
You know what? It's funny. It's gonna be funny when all the actual real OnlyFans models start complaining that the AI OnlyFans
He's taking their
models
work.
are taking their jobs.
Why exactly would that be funny?
Because they took our jobs. How do you not get the reference? Oh my God, Meryl, come on.
Yeah, I get the reference. I just don't find it funny.
Because
People losing their livelihoods is serious business.
it's gonna happen in all sectors, Meryl.
Yeah.
Yeah,
AI
so why is that funny?
That's why we're talking
That's
about it in
funny.
the next episode.
That's not
why
funny.
we're talking
That's
about
boring.
it. That's why we're talking about it in the next
Meryl.
episode.
Over here, we don't cry about what's gonna happen. We just embrace it and embrace change. That's what we do, and we laugh.
Doesn't mean you have to call it funny.
We laugh moving forward. I'm a joyful person. I'm not gonna feel trepidatious about something that's gonna inevitably happen. Who cares?
It sounded more like
Evolve.
gleeful about their demise rather than
Evolve with the change.
just
Obviously,
making
'cause
light of the situation.
I don't like the sex.
Jobs.
You know this about me. So
No, but yeah, we will go into it on the next episode. Thank you so much for tuning in once again, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Meryl, Given, thank you so much once again for joining me on this stream, and getting your thoughts out in regards to this situation. If you've made it to the end, make sure that you hit that like button. Make sure you hit subscribe, and for whenever we go live next, and be part of the conversations that we have on here. Also, if you want to support the channel financially, think about consider becoming a member or sending super chats, etc. All that will be helpful. But the most important part is liking that button. Pressing that like button. So with that,
Staring at you like it's just there. It's like shaped like a button.
So
buttons are for smashing.
So with all that said, thank you so much for tuning in, and yeah, take care of yourself and have a great evening. Bye bye.
Cheers.